We all have a long list of desires: wealth, status, a perfect body, or fame. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why do I actually want these things? Are these my genuine desires, or is my brain simply copying society? The harsh reality is that many people spend years climbing a mountain only to realize at the top that their ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. In this video, we are going to break down the psychology of human goals, how to identify false desires, why our brain tricks us in goal setting, and how to discover your authentic life goals. There is a powerful psychological phenomenon known as mimetic desire. Human beings do not set goals purely based on their intrinsic needs. They create goals by watching what others desire. When you see society, the media, or those around you valuing something, like an expensive car or a specific lifestyle, your brain unconsciously adopts it as its own goal. This is a massive psychological illusion. We want things simply because we see others wanting them, not because we truly need them internally.
The biggest mistake the human brain makes regarding goals is the illusion of arrival. The brain's dopamine system is designed to release the most dopamine during the pursuit and struggle toward a goal, not upon achieving the goal itself. This is why achieving a massive goal often leads to a sudden sense of emptiness. If a goal is merely a destination and you do not enjoy the daily process, reaching it will never bring you lasting happiness.
Psychologists categorize goals into two distinct types: extrinsic and intrinsic goals. Extrinsic goals include wealth, fame, social status, and image. These goals rely entirely on external validation, and studies show that pursuing them increases anxiety and depression. In contrast, intrinsic goals include personal growth, deep relationships, health, and contributing to others. These stem from within, do not require outside approval, and generate long-lasting fulfillment. To determine whether a goal is truly authentic or created just to impress others, perform a simple mental experiment: the empty room test. Imagine you live in a world where no one else exists. There are no social media platforms, and no one will ever see your achievements. Would you still invest your time and energy into that goal? If your answer is no, then that goal was merely a trophy to show off. A goal merely sets direction, but it is systems and daily habits that actually carry you there. Someone who only obsesses over an ideal weight but lacks a daily system for nutrition and exercise will ultimately fail. Write down your goals, but focus all your energy on building the identity and daily habits that transform you into that person. True goal setting means falling in love with the process, not just the outcome. Before investing your life into a goal, you must purify and refine it. Ask yourself 3 deep questions. If I achieve this goal and nobody ever finds out, will I still be happy? Am I willing to endure the pain and friction of this path, or am I just in love with the reward? How does achieving this goal make me a better person for myself and others? Answering these questions eliminates empty, forced goals and leaves only what truly matters. To prevent mental overload and distraction, implement the Rule of 3. The human brain cannot focus on 10 different goals simultaneously. In any given season of your life, choose strictly 3 primary goals: one for physical and mental health, one for career or financial growth, and one for relationships and character. Set aside everything else so your mental energy remains razor-focused. The first and most common human goal is the pursuit of money and financial wealth. Wealth in itself is a powerful tool for security, comfort, and freedom of time. Psychological critique. However, the trap of money is activated when wealth shifts from being a tool to a measure of self-worth. Psychology shows that money increases happiness up to the point of meeting basic needs and comfort, but after that, it hits the law of diminishing returns. If money is your sole objective, you fall into the hedonic treadmill, where the more you acquire, the higher your expectations rise, leaving you in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction. With the rise of social media, the obsession with fame and popularity has exploded. The desire to be famous stems from the human need for belonging and validation. Psychological critique. Fame is one of the most fragile goals because it relies entirely on the fickle attention of others. When fame is your goal, you surrender your mental stability to strangers and likes. Famous individuals often experience deep emotional isolation, unsure if people love their authentic self or their public persona. Fame without inner meaning inevitably leads to constant anxiety over losing relevance. The pursuit of power, high status, or control over others is an ancient human drive, often rooted in the instinct for dominance and safety.
Psychological critique. The core flaw in making power your goal is that power is often a psychological band-aid for internal insecurity. Those obsessed with controlling others usually feel deeply out of control within themselves. Furthermore, studies show that intense power-seeking reduces empathy in the brain, isolating the individual and leading to loneliness at the top.
Chasing physical perfection, eternal youth, and social attractiveness is a dominant goal in modern culture. Psychological critique. The flaw here lies in biology. Physical appearances naturally change and age over time. When a person's entire identity is built on appearance, every wrinkle or bodily change becomes an existential crisis. Pursuing outer beauty without cultivating inner depth leads to covert body dysmorphia and an endless addiction to external validation. For many, the ultimate goal in life is maximizing pleasure, entertainment, and avoiding any form of discomfort or struggle. Psychological critique. The ultimate psychological paradox is that escaping pain is a source of pain itself. The human brain becomes numb, depressed, and directionless in environments devoid of challenge. Instant gratification triggers fleeting dopamine bursts, but fails to build lasting fulfillment. A life aimed solely at comfort leaves you fragile and unable to handle life's inevitable crises. Acquiring multiple degrees, titles, and intellectual perfection is seen by many as the highest goal. Psychological critique. If knowledge isn't paired with action and self-awareness, it transforms into intellectual arrogance. Many use the accumulation of credentials as a shield to hide from real-world execution. Knowledge that doesn't lead to character development or solving real problems merely feeds the ego, not the soul. After breaking down superficial goals, we arrive at authentic goals: personal growth, self-awareness, creating value, helping others, and serving a purpose greater than oneself. Positive analysis. Unlike superficial goals, authentic goals do not depend on external approval. When your goal is improving your character or solving a real problem, the journey itself becomes the reward. In these pursuits, failure doesn't exist. Every challenge is simply data for growth. Now that you understand the spectrum of human goals, it is time to purify your own ambitions. Run every goal through the empty room test. If no one ever finds out about this achievement, would I still pursue it? Then apply the rule of 3. Select only 3 primary authentic goals for this season of your life. 1 for health, 1 for mission or career, and 1 for spirit or relationships. Now that we have examined every secular goal, from wealth and fame to power and beauty, we arrive at a profound truth. All earthly goals are finite. The human soul possesses an infinite thirst, which is precisely why material success never fully satisfies it. This brings us to the ultimate and most authentic goal: God and connection to the divine source. When God becomes your ultimate goal, your entire paradigm shifts. God is not a finite destination where you eventually hit boredom. God is absolute, infinite reality. Wealth, knowledge, and power cease to be final objectives. They become mere tools for your inner evolution. Making God your ultimate anchor brings 3 powerful psychological shifts. First, liberation from fear. When anchored to the infinite, temporary setbacks and social judgments lose their power to break you. Second, true inner sufficiency. You no longer hunger for superficial validation because your self-worth is rooted in the Creator, not the creation. Third, meaningful suffering. Life's inevitable trials are no longer seen as pointless cruelty, but as a refining fire for spiritual growth. This is the highest form of inner mastery, transcending the fragile ego to achieve absolute peace, a state where no external illusion can deceive you and no worldly loss can crush your spirit. But can even this ultimate goal be distorted? Is it possible for someone to use the concept of God as an escape from reality or a tool for their own ego? In the next video, we will break down the psychological critique of this perspective,